Hey guys, so I just talked to the Woodman Valley Sertoma Club. Apparently, there's about a dozen Sertoma clubs here in Colorado Springs, and each has its own membership. It's something I hadn't run into before. I My grandfather was in the Elks Club, and I know about Freemasons, but the Sertoma Club, basically, it's an acronym. It stands for Service to Mankind, and they operate a lot like an Elks Club, but they have their meetings in a Denny's, and they like completely take over an entire wing of the Denny's and like rearrange the tables and as if they own the place. And apparently Denny's doesn't mind because they're giving them business on a Wednesday morning at 7 in the morning. Anyways, I was asked to speak. They asked for someone to speak to them about the Freethinkers of Colorado Springs, which I'm the vice president of. So I go there, and I went there knowing that apparently the last person that they had asked from the Freethinkers of Colorado Springs, and this was 8 years ago, so I have no idea who it was. Apparently, they had such a problem with some of the attitudes and questions of the people that were in the Sertoma Club that that person offered to pay for his meal and left. Just like walked right out on it. So I was like, baptism by fire, bring it on. I love to put my views in front of other people and see what they have to say. So I think maybe I was I was probably a lot better equipped to handle things because I have thicker skin because I'm on YouTube and the comments section. You're going if there's something wrong with what you're saying, you're going to get questions and people pointing it out. So I felt confident going in. And no, this isn't a Mountain Dew. Sorry. I do have a case of it in here. It's just sometimes I change it up. Anyways, I made it about a third of the way through my outline before their questions started taking over. And see, I had been prepared that they start at 7:30, they end at 8:30. And it sounded like they were really strict on their time. So I had been prepared for I'm going to speak for 30 minutes and then take questions for 30 minutes. And I even shortened my outline so that I could speak for 20 minutes and take 40 minutes worth of questions. You know, because I'd rather get into a dialogue with people. So I got about a third of the way down my outline, and their questions just started taking over. Um, yeah, it was weird in that I could see how another freethinker might not be equipped to handle the the angles that they were coming from because they were disagreeing with what I was saying at a level of like the most basic level. Like, I mean, they're a good group of people, a couple of them conservative, and they were trying to suss out whether or not I was myself a conservative or liberal or whatnot, and was I an anarchist? Are free thought people anarchists? That was one of the questions. Yeah, So one guy in particular, he was asking me a question, and in it he had the caveat that he has faith in his religion, you have faith in science, and when somebody has a long-winded question, like they say a few statements and then they ask their question. Sometimes one of those statements is so wrong that in order to answer their question, you have to like start remembering. Okay, that was wrong that he said. That was wrong that he said. Don't forget to address that. So, in case you're one of those people who watches my channel and does think that people have faith in science, science permits and promotes peer review and validation from other sources, and therefore it's not faith-based. Get it? Yeah, it's an alternate methodology of discerning whether or not you are getting true information. And people who understand science will say that over and over again, and there will still be people in the world who will think, oh, well, I have faith in my thing, that's okay. You have faith in science, so we're equals here. Your faith in science is no better than my faith in whatever. Next, there was another guy. He asked, "Isn't it hypocritical of freethinkers to be opposed to dogma when being in opposition to dogma is in legislation and faith-based legislation in and of itself is a rule, and that rule is therefore dogma. Dogma is a rule that you are not allowed to question. Okay? Very often, freethinkers, the ones that stick around, they see validation of the reasons why they do what they do. They have reasons, and so when they say, okay, we shouldn't make decisions based on dogma, but then they have to scrutinize that sentence. Should we make decisions based on dogma? Then they see all of these things in our society where it's bad and it was based on dogma. So they see reasons all the time because they're a member of a free-thinking organization. And so, yeah, when they revisit the question of is that a good rule, just the fact that they're sticking around is, to me, evidence that they see a reason for questioning dogma in faith-based legislation wherever we see it. Thing is, nobody is telling people that they have to stay in our organization. If people fall out of it because of lack of interest, we haven't done our job in promoting all of the problems that we're fighting against. We haven't done our job in educating people, but we're not going to get angry if somebody has different priorities than fighting the same fight that we are, or if they think that they've come back to that question and they decided, you know what, I'm okay with some dogma somewhere, and so I don't want to be a freethinker. It hardly ever comes up because it's such a basic thing. If you show up to a freethinker meeting, you're probably not going to have a problem with opposing dogma in legislation. It's so yeah. It's like when you examine and explore that question, it's almost on a subconscious level. It's like, well, yeah, I'm here. I'm here to oppose dogma and legislation because I had reasons. So, like, I'm okay with us opposing it. That rule passed my test. That's why I'm here. But I guess there are a few circular reasons that hold up some of their beliefs. So they consider circular reasoning to be something that, like, they would like to find in other people's beliefs. And so they try to mash that square peg into the round hole, and this time it did not work because I had to back him up, and say, no, we like to scrutinize everything, including ourselves. In fact, we just scrutinized our mission statement last month, and we looked at every word in it. Like, do we want to change any of these words? And there was an emotion of wanting to be more activist and more proactive. But as far as changing words in our mission statement, what we actually found was by scrutinizing each word, there was very little that we wanted to change because the previous writers of the mission statement of our nonprofit, they did a good job, and so we tweaked it just very slightly. But yeah, the word education itself was like, well, yeah, everybody was on board with that, and that was like second word in the mission statement. So, and just for those of you who are wondering, well, what's in the mission statement, I will read it because I have it right here on my screen. Our mission statement: we, the Freethinkers of Colorado Springs, have the mission statement of the education of the public by providing a voice that is not constrained by religious dogma or illogical claims through, though not limited to, public discussion groups, forums, panels, and lectures. So we scrutinize that, and we might tweak it just a little bit more to add some more activism in because we'd really like to start. Well, we've already started, so, but we'd like to have our mission statement reflect that which we've already started, which is being more proactive. So yeah, I didn't get to tell them at all about my Mayan Survivor Party, and that was one of the things that I had on my outline, just like ready to talk about it, and I had a flyer for it, and I was gonna like brag because I'm very happy about how it went out. I didn't tell them that we're going to have a Darwin's birthday social. I did tell someone afterwards, because a few of them stuck around. But what happened was, I get a third of the way down my outline, and then they just keep on coming at me with questions, and I'm using my kung fu, yeah, wada, yeah, and all of a sudden it was 8:30. I started at 7:30, and then it was 8:30, and these guys, they, like, when it's time to go, they file out. There was only like 4 or 5 of them that really hung around for even 10 minutes. At a Freethinkers meeting, if it's at the Gill Foundation, we do have to close at 9, and it starts at 7. So, like, we might close at 9 and say, okay, anyone who wants to keep talking, we're going to this bar. But if it's a social at someone's house, they normally start at 6 p.m., and there will be people there at midnight, because it's like brain crack, okay? Brain crack. Yeah. So yeah, if you get the chance to talk to a Sertoma group, I would say take it. And the two things I would tell you is they are sticklers for time. So if you get off on a tangent and start answering everyone's questions, then you're not going to get across whatever you came to speak on. And two, remember to speak up, because the Sertoma Club, they have one of their missions is hearing aids, and there are a lot of old people in the group, and so you have to use your manly man voice, because if you have a beard that may cover lip reading, like they are hard of hearing. So I didn't have any problems with that. But yeah, you have to investigate the group that you're talking to. And when you find out that they have this huge hearing aid charity, and then you get there and you see like 5 people wearing like oversized hearing aids, it's a good sign that you should speak up. So I didn't sit down in the den. Everybody else was sitting down enjoying their breakfast. I didn't sit down for the hour because I wanted to project my voice. And that's what happened. I didn't film it because on walking in, I could tell the sound quality would be just horrible. There was no reason to get everyone's permission to film them. So you get this as a review. Until I ramble again.